I would like to introduce you to Bob Gilliam, who's here to talk a little bit about Susan Cooley-Gilliom, who this fund is named after.
Well, I have absolutely nothing prepared, and I wasn't even sure we'd be doing this, but here I am. Many of you knew Susan, and lots of familiar faces, some who I haven't seen for quite a while. And maybe what I'll do is just say a few words about kind of how this whole idea got generated. And it's really Susan's mom that's behind all this. And basically, she has wanted over the last few years, it's been kind of brewing, to think of like a best way to put some memory down for Susan and what she would have done if she had the resources to put to the community and so forth. And so a lot of ideas have come up over time and everything, and then kind of coincidentally in time, the Community Foundation project came up, and through a lot of conversation around there, she kind of jumped in and said, I really want to do something on this. And at that point it wasn't very well formed. It was really more that Susan had essentially learned her art here in this community. I mean, she was a hands-on, she didn't go to a Master's in Fine Arts program or anything like that. She learned it all here, and she learned it by creating her own things, starting with her own sheep,
Yes.
and doing all the fiber work, right? That was truly sheep to canvas, you know. Everything was naturally dyed her own way, and an early collaboration. I can't help, I see Michael Murphy over there, and back in I want to say the mid to late 80s, and Michael did a design of our historic milk barn remodel. We were out in Mount Vernon Road on the old Mount Vernon Dairy with our sheep. And so Michael did the design, and after they got going on this, I think you decided jointly with Susan to do this sheep, that it would be really cool to do a sheep sculpture and make it all with this colored wool. And so, and Michael still has it. They collaborated on the idea. Susan poked all this wool into this sheep and made this rainbow-colored sheep.
Surprise.
Yeah. So anyway, that then transpired into the work that more recent years was all pastels and the local landscapes and scenery that a lot of friends and many of you have some of her work in your house or a print or something. And so I think what then happened through the discussions in really recent times was Susan's mom, whose name is Sue, got really inspired about getting a long-term commitment to an artist exchange workshop training type of idea, you know, and that's how vague it was. Luckily, we think, I'm certain of it, Bonnie, who will be introduced in a moment, and I won't do it, I'll let Veronica do that, but Bonnie, who's a longtime friend of Sue's, was also very experienced in the art world and has been working in it for her whole career in life, and has done this kind of work before, and so they kind of basically hooked up with the idea to get Bonnie down here and involved to help her feel like she could get done here what would really be the best thing in Susan's memory, and that's where we are. So that's what kind of launched this, and I'll leave it to Veronica.
Great, and so you all know Bonnie, I think, because about 150 people have been participating in focus groups this last week, and in receptions, and in one-on-one meetings, and phone calls, and emails. So I don't know that I have to go into Bonnie's resume at this point, because she's like family now. So I've asked Bonnie if she would come and meet with us and just kind of give us a brief overview of what she found when she was here. And of course, it's going to take the next year probably to craft the program and get it implemented. But Bonnie, thank you so much for being with us again tonight and for sharing a little bit about what you've learned in the last training.
Well, thanks, Veronica. I appreciate it. Well, it's been really a lot of fun, and as Veronica mentioned, I think most of you look like familiar faces. I think there's some couple new people out here I haven't seen before, so if anybody wants to ask me any questions, during the reception, just come up and fire away. Or if you have suggestions for, if you weren't in a focus group, if you weren't able to attend or come to one of the larger meetings, there was a reception at Blue Line Gallery in Roseville a couple of days ago. And if you weren't able to attend something and have something you'd like to say to me, just please come up. I'm going to put some business cards someplace, and if you want to email me with ideas or suggestions, please do. As Bob mentioned, I've known the Cooley family since 1975, and it's a wonderful family of folks involved in the arts and in craft. And this was an exciting opportunity for me to be able to kind of come and take a little bit of the temperature of your community and find out what the art scene was like, and how a small program could perhaps benefit the community. And I think Sue is really interested in doing something that will last in perpetuity, and really believes in the idea of funding something that can go on and help to, maybe build even more infrastructure for the arts in Placer County. So it's been great. We've had 4 focus groups with 12 people in each focus group, or about that, and reception with almost 50 people at Blue Line Gallery, where people had a lot of ideas and suggestions. And I've met with individuals who are managers of your different arts organizations, and spent time here in this gallery, and with Angela, and then traveled down to Blue Line and was hosted wonderfully there and seen their great space, and been to Sierra Community College, a wonderful program there. Really impressed with their space and what they do. So I think that you have already an amazingly vibrant art community here. And this program is going to be about bringing artists to the community to do some kind of residence teaching program. We've talked about teaching master classes for established artists in the community. We've talked about going into the public schools. We've talked about doing programs for teens for some of the under-recognized communities, possibly something that could relate to people in the Native American and Hispanic community, and also talked about how important your environment is here, and how agriculture, your everything from your wineries to the kind of fruit that you grow here, and your river rafting and the great outdoors, and how all of those things might be able to play a role in a program like this and become really an attractor and a destination program, both for some very well-recognized artists and people who might want to come to Placer County to experience something special, and for people in Placer County that might want to be able to work with some artists that are in very interesting places in their careers. We've also talked about bringing artists that are very experienced and well-known in the United States and perhaps the world, and also artists that are perhaps newer in their careers but would be able to give something in a really interesting way to the community. So all of this, I have reams of notes, and I hope they're going to end up being intelligent, because I'm not used to taking notes very much, but I think they'll be okay. And I'm going to try to write them up and then have something that can go online on the Placer Community Foundation's website, so people can kind of look at that. And I'm going to be working very closely with Sue Cooley, talking to her about what she thinks is the best direction for this program to go in, with all of the feedback that I've had in the community. And I just want to thank everybody. The Placer County Community Foundation has been wonderful, and I encourage you all to donate to that. If you donate to that $1 million they're trying to raise for the arts, you will end up building infrastructure in your community. So I know from having recently raised some money in Portland, Oregon, that if you give $25 or $10,000 or $1 million, you will really, really help to build something in your community that'll last forever. So don't hesitate. It makes a huge, huge difference. And every $25 counts, and every $1 million counts too. And they all take the exact same amount of time to ask for. It's no different. Yeah, so do what you can, because that'll end up, this program is going to fund anywhere from maybe 2 to 4, who knows, that maybe more artists to come to the community each year. You could have something else happening in your community that would be really major too, so go for it.